Cave Mula Falcha. I'm looking at this and I don't see anything happening.
It'll take a second.
Okay. Well,
Because
there's no point in saying hello if there's nobody there.
Well, I'm there. I'm watching it in
Oh,
the
okay.
background.
Welcome, Gerald. It's so nice to see you. How long does it take to get this thing to react?
It takes usually about 4 to 5 seconds for StreamYard and YouTube to sync.
Oh, it just
takes. So you'll want to turn down your volume.
There's a little bit of a delay, so some of what we just said got recorded. Okay, let's start over and try to be professional about this. Can you control yourself, please? Welcome to Irish Granny Helen and to Tarot Stash Gerald. And we are here together in a knit and chat, correct? And
that is correct.
I don't know if you read the description. I'm so funny. We're going to keep you in stitches.
You are just tying us up in knots, lady.
Try the veal and I'll be here until Sunday night. Okay. I want
to drink minimum, tip your servers.
That's right. I want to show you something. It's been killing me. It's been sitting right here. I've been hiding it. I want to show you something from my garden, my first bouquet of the summer.
Oh, those are beautiful.
And this is not, thank you. This is nothing. This is only from 2 bushes that grow together. The beautiful, these ones that are really better formed are beautiful. And these more loosely created ones smell beautiful. Oh. And this orange one is like the rose of death. I have a front walkway. And when I planted these, I had no idea what I was doing. I planted them like 30 years ago. I have no idea what I was doing. And this orange one is not miniature, but it's not full size. You can see it'll open up, but it doesn't get much bigger than that.
Yes.
It has, let's see if I can show you without breaking it. It has, check out these thorns, and this is moderate. Do you see the thorns?
Ooh, those are going to stay. Those are pretty vicious looking.
It's the rose of death. So yeah, and then I've got columbine, which is kind of grows wild around here, but I've got some in pots inadvertently. That's this grows in all different colors, and I have lavender. It's kind of hard to see.
Very nice.
This I believe is English lavender. I have English and French lavender. They look different and they smell slightly different, but they're cousins, you know. So that's from my garden, and I wanted to share that with everybody. Where can I put it? Because I'm going to end up knocking it over.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we don't want that on the ground so it has a shorter trip.
Yeah, please remember, to watch it.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, everybody. Here we are. So, Gerald, how's the knitting coming?
The knitting is going fine. I have not knit a lot since we last met. Jeffrey and I went away for a quilting retreat.
Oh, right.
Where we were being very creative and enjoying the time away. I completely unplugged, didn't answer emails or anything like that.
That's good for
It was very, very good. And it is one of those things, the need to really disengage and activate a different part of my brain.
Cut those cables to the devices, which are so toxic, and they become, it's like there are certain things that they will implant in your brain, and under a microscope, your brain actually creates biological connections to them. It's very weird. I kind of feel that way about telephones. I think most people have them surgically attached right about here.
Well, it's interesting because this place we were staying, we were with a group of quilters. We were all doing our own thing. We did have 3 people who were not able to be there, so it was a smaller group than what we were expecting, which was fine. The inn where we were staying does not have TV. So there was no watching TV. I could search some things on the internet. If you know how it is, sometimes people are together and suddenly someone says, what was the name of that thing
Oh,
that had to do with that
yeah.
other thing?
That's
So we,
legitimate. You're looking at Google for a fact. I mean, that's a two
yes,
second thing. It's not like you walk into a room. Well, I've repeated this before, but I'll repeat it. It bears repeating. On a walk last week, I cut through the high school, um, yard, and there it was lunchtime, and there were all these little pockets of kids sitting in circles eating their lunch. 100% of them were on their phones.
yes.
Shocking to me. I mean, I know I'm old, but shocking. Absolutely shocking. So I want to hear about your quilting.
I was working on. I have a fabric landscape that I've been commissioned to do for my great nephew, my
Oh,
sister's grandson. And I've talked about that on my channel. I call it The Magic Begins, where I did a couple of shows where I was talking about my creative process in selecting fabrics, how I think about it. That has been a lot of fun. When I have a video I'm working on setting up what the first day looked like, how I was sewing with it. I love color. I love talking about it. It was a
that's
lot of
such
fun.
a talent. What is the landscape of? Like what's the landscape?
It is in Yellowstone National Park. I could actually find it for you. I could show people. It is on my. Here we go. Thank you. Um, it is, and of course, where is it? Okay, it is Merced River.
Hmm.
It looks like this.
Oh,
That's
that's going
the
to be
landscape.
beautiful. Yeah,
So
beautiful.
I was working on that. I worked on that for 2 days. Then I was at a point to where I needed to not look at it for a few days.
Replenish. Yeah, yeah.
And so I was working on some paper piecing, quilting paper piecing, which is, or yeah.
Making a pattern out of gym
Well, it's
paper.
actually it's a class my sister taught. It's about using it's about sewing through paper and onto the fabric in a certain way to get very accurate points and do very complicated designs. I worked on that most of the rest of the time. I of course it's Gerald. Part of what I was doing, Helen, I was not doing it the right way. And I
Yeah.
finished all of the pieces that I had, and I had more. I'm using some beautiful African fabrics that
Mm.
I purchased from a shop on Etsy. So I love the fabric. I love the stuff that I have. Well, I get to the point to where I'm like, okay, I really like this, but I don't like the layout of the original pattern. So I was playing differently with it,
You
and
oh, excuse you. You were being creative?
I was. It was it was one of those challenging things because the piece is supposed to look like this when you sew it all together.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. That reminds me of some modern art thing I've seen. It's almost like Picasso.
Yes. And so the fabric was really great. And then I was like going, I don't really want to make a 9 by 9 thing. And so instead, what I decided to do was lay it out differently. So I laid it out to where it
Oh.
snakes up.
So is it going to be vertical?
Well, I am going to make this so it's a quilt it'll be good for sitting on the couch.
It looks like leaves falling.
I can see that.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, you have such an eye for color.
And so and
Wow.
I was
Beautiful.
So it's interesting because the things that I was working on, they weren't supposed to match up, but I made them match up. And this is what Jeffrey did whilst we were away. He finished all 12 of his blocks. Yes,
Oh
that's the my
my
reaction too.
God. Are you? Oh my God. How big is that?
They're pretty large. I think they might be 12 to 13-inch squares. So it is going to be a quilt that is 3 by 4.
He
So
did
it'll
that in
be,
a week?
he did that in a week.
Will you
Uh,
give him a message for me?
sure.
My oldest daughter was 3 years old before I finished the crib, baby cot quilt I planned on making for her when I first got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
4 years. It took me almost 4 years, and it was like this big.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
And that's the last time I made a quilt. It was so traumatic for me.
It's
Oh
really
my God, that's
beautiful.
beautiful.
So and we have Linda Bishop is watching, and Pamela Batchelor has joined us in the
And Linda said something so funny. Her landlord's wife mows the lawn with her phone in her hand. Linda, I can do you one better. I saw a young woman walking down the street with the phone in her hand, scrolling and pushing her baby carriage with her elbows.
Okay.
It's too much.
But it was very good. I needed the refresh. I really missed working with my hands and being creative. So it was very enjoyable.
Clear your head.
Yeah. It was about a 5.5 hour drive each way. Great time together. Jeffrey's been working very, very hard and very late. So it was
do you mind saying what he does? What does he do for a living?
He is an office manager for the Bureau of Motor Vehicles where we live.
Oh my God. Wow.
So one of the
Is
offices.
his halo a little crooked?
His halo is bright and shiny because he has to deal with people who don't read what they need to do, and they blame someone else for their tardiness in doing what they need to do.
And that's a very high stress job. I'm impressed. Really high stress. Office manager for anything sucks. It's such responsibility. The office manager is the brain of any organization. And then the Department of Motor Vehicles, God help him. Oh my God.
Yes. So we really did have a wonderful time. We were with great people. All of us were different. All of us are working on different types of work, which was fun.
It's so fun to be with people who have the similar interest. I should say I'm going to be mature here for a minute. I'm going to say hello to Jill and Pamela and Linda, and I think and some character called Tara Stash. I don't know who that is. Okay, can I brag now? Can I show you what I did?
Yes, please brag.
I have seriously looking at the calendar constantly. Oh my God, I'm going to be with Gerald next week. I've got to hurry up. Okay, this is my grandson's poncho.
Oh yeah.
But the end still curls up. I blocked it and blocked it and blocked it. And it didn't do any good. As soon as it dried, it curled up again. So I'm going to have to do the fringe. I think the fringe will pull it down, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is...
That is great.
Thank you, but I'm so concerned because it looks too small. But I counted stitches, I did the gauge, and I did the measurements. I got my daughter to measure my grandson, and this is a little bigger than the physical measurements, but it still looks too small.
It looks a little small. Maybe he can stretch it out a little bit. Maybe.
Well,
when you blocked it, did you stretch it?
The saving grace is one of her closest friends has a younger son. My daughter took care of him for her friend when he was a newborn. He's a little bit like a cousin to my grandchildren. Mm-hmm. And he's about 2. So he can have it, and I'll start over and I'll make a bigger one. But I'm making one for my granddaughter, who is... I think she's 10. So I'm doing a size 14. I think this looks small for a 14.
It does, but I'm curious to, yeah.
I
And when
measured,
you
I used the gauge thing,
you're doing you're matching the gauge?
and it was perfect. It was absolute, and I don't always hit perfect. It was perfect. Stitches, numbers of rows, perfect. I took out a measuring tape and I measured, from here to here and all that stuff. Perfect. Actually, this is a little bigger than his physical measurements. I had
Mm,
my daughter replicate what I measured, and
okay.
he's a little smaller than what I got in inches on this poncho. But visually, it looks too small. You think so too? I'm not nuts.
You're not, well, not because of
Well,
that.
all right, all right, all right.
It also could be it could stretch a little bit with wear.
Well, we're gonna have to tie fishing weights to it or something. I don't
Well, yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do the fringe. I haven't been looking for. I'm not crazy about fringe because I catch it on things, but I think I'm gonna have to.
Jill said, Helen, I find doing a small crochet border around the edges help to weigh it down.
I don't know how to crochet.
Okay.
People have tried to teach me how to crochet for decades, and we end up never speaking again. Isn't that funny? I'm missing that genetic material. I just don't seem to be able to. I've heard that's a really good way to do it. Thank you. It's beautiful. I mean,
The
I
yarn's great.
love this
Yes.
yarn. It's so beautiful, the colors. And it's perfect combination of colors for him. He's a very light blonde, if you could believe it. He's very light blonde with curly hair, and my daughter lets it grow
Oh,
long. It's beautiful.
there you go.
His sister has a beautiful shade of bright red hair. It's not that, terrible orange color. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful shade of auburn
Yes.
red hair. Isn't that interesting? They're
I
both throwbacks to their Viking
I was just saying
ancestry.
it must be a genetic thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I met my son-in-law, and he's got dark hair, and I met his mother and father, and they have dark hair. They're lovely people, and so they have this baby who comes out like day one, bright red hair. Well, bright red hair is recessive. It has to be on both sides of the
Mhm.
family, and it's a gender. What's the word I want? Sex linked trait. So
Uh-huh.
it is defined by the male genetics. But there was nobody redheaded in their family. And then I met his cousin, and he had
Oh,
a gigantic red beard. I went, oh, okay, there you go. That
that's it.
explains that. Yeah, yeah. Because
Yes.
there's a lot of red hair in my family. So,
Sure.
and it's all the boys.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, if you do what they call a Punnett square, which is a 3x4, I think 3x4 or 4x4, maybe. Must be 4x4.
I was gonna say 3 by 4 is not a
No,
square.
that's wrong.
I'm just saying
See,
that much I know.
I'm a genius. A grid to see all the combinations you can get with genetic traits. You end up with 12 for some reason. And my family is the perfect example. We have exactly what they would predict if they did the numbers of red hair, numbers of blonde hair,
Sure.
how many girls have it, how many boys have. We are the perfect example. One redheaded girl, three redheaded boys. That would be the genetic prediction, and that's what we got. How weird
Okay.
is that? Uh,
You must like science.
it was my major.
I know.
I feel like I always have to excuse myself because I remember nothing. It's terrible.
That's all right. Everything is a new and exciting day for you because you remember nothing.
That's right. Every day's a new day. It's interesting with science too that most people think if it's science, it's written in stone and it's the word of God. Science is completely plastic. It completely depends
Yes.
on the latest data, and it changes all the time. So that's really interesting too, because even if you got it wrong on a test 30 years ago, you might prove to be right today. I'm just saying. I
Yes.
always did really poorly in physics, and they've recently decided that the Newtonian laws are flawed. I could have told him that. I could have told him that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Never made sense.
Helen was doing fine. You all were just crazy.
That's right. I was ahead of my time. Okay. Question time, right? Let me see.
Oh, this is that Jeffrey challenged me to do the stripes vertically. So
I love that yarn. It's beautiful.
I do too. So I'm down to the end of this skein. So I need to link another one.
Do you have more?
Yes, I do. And it is right. Where did I put it? Yes, I do. Where'd it go?
I don't know. I didn't touch it.
Yeah. Did you take my yarn, Helen?
How weird would it be if I had a ball of
That
yarn?
would be hilarious.
I would just totally drive you right over the edge.
All right. Here, look at
Oh, this is Gerald last year. This is just a profile portrait of him that he had taken, a formal Christmas portrait that he had taken.
Stop it. Where is it?
I don't know, but that portrait vibrates when you talk.
Oh, yes, it does.
Why?
Hello, Helen. This is Gerald. I'm your guest. I'm pulsing.
I thought cell phones had eliminated the potential for obscene phone calls, but apparently not.
Oh, no, they've elevated
it. Do we have any hot topics?
Do we have any hot topics? I am still very fascinated by the idea of we need to be much more creative and much more. It is important for us to find joy in the daily living that we do to help ground us in all of the chaos that we are experiencing.
Well, you're a Stoic.
There you go.
That was what the Stoics believed, that you have to be wise enough, intuitive enough to recognize that there are things bigger than yourself that you can't change. Yes. And then you have to remain aware and then bring your focus in to your personal life. Spend enough time in contemplation to know yourself well enough to know what your values really are, and then decide in your personal life what you can do for the betterment of everybody. It's easy, simple, right?
And just like that, Helen, Irish Granny Helen has solved the world's problems. Please like and subscribe and show your support.
Give
this
UN.
Video a thumbs up. Call the UN. Share
I heard
this
they're looking for an American representative to the UN. I've got to be better than Elise Stefanik. I mean, please. I could do that job. You could do that job. We could do that job in a coma.
We could do that job on a phone, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, I'm reaching into the void in the center of these cards to be sure I get something that we have not covered. Oh, oh, this is great.
Oh no!
I should have asked this before I gave you my my comment on the UN. Create your own opinion.
I think that is a really important aspect. I was just in a show, and we were talking about how the importance of figuring out when we learn things and how things operate, what the rules are, then we have to start to incorporate them and go, well, how do I work with those rules? And as many people are fortunate enough to learn a language or learn to play a musical instrument when they are younger.
Yeah.
Because their brains are juicy. They're really good. And when we get older, we can still do it. Yeah, it's just more challenging.
Well, when you're little, you actually literally have all these potential neurological connections. Mm-hmm. And the ones you use develop, and the ones you don't use go away. They can be nurtured back, but it's much harder. It's better to use
Yes.
them than try to regain them, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And a language, it's so interesting when you learn a language as a child, you're not memorizing the pluperfect tense, you know? It would never even occur to you. You're simply using it, and people don't mind correcting you until you get things right, which is why I think it's necessary to correct children's grammar. It drives me crazy when children don't use correct tenses, or
Mhm.
they use singular and they mix the singular and plural with verbs and
Yes.
pronouns, and it just drives me crazy. So it's important that as adults we kind of steer them in the right direction. But you can learn a language at any age. The younger you start, the easier it is.
Correct. I am trying to I took 3 years of Spanish in high school, so this was back when the world was still in black and white, and shades of gray. I walked uphill both
To
ways,
school.
to school, sharing a shoe with my sister.
And
You know,
gasoline costs 25 cents a gallon.
I do remember that quite
I
a
do
bit,
too. That's
actually.
why I
Um,
said that.
and um, so I don't remember much of it. So I'm using an app to help me learn some of it. I got to a point, Helen, last week before we went on our trip, to where they were talking different tenses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't understand these in English. How am I just going to do this in a foreign language?
Well, you take it one tenth at a time. So you can, I don't know, I'm not, there are programs that you can pay for that teach you this, but I would say, in my experience, take, I don't know, random number, 10 verbs, and really learn them
Yes.
in the present tense. Then go back and pick a tense, usually the past is a good one, and learn them in the past tense. And yeah, have to memorize.
Yes.
That's where it's easier to do it when you're a child, because you absorb it through repetition. As an adult, yeah, have to memorize it. And then when you feel like you've got a good grasp of those two tenses, then you move on. If you start having a tense thrown at you, a new one every week, that's overwhelming.
Also, it is important to learn whilst having fun. Make it joyful, make it add a sense of play to it. That actually, there was some research, and I came across it about a month and a half ago, where they talk about children learn better when there is play involved. Adults will learn better when there is play involved, I think. Let's just add on to that. So I need to make it a bit more playful and enjoyable.
Well, that's why look at how children learn the alphabet. A, B, C, D.
Yep.
You learn it through songs. Music
Mhm.
is one of the best. I don't know if you're familiar with the singer Raffi.
Yes.
Okay, so he's Canadian, but he's Egyptian Canadian. And he plays the acoustic guitar, and he
Mhm.
got really famous in the 90s, I think, recording children's songs, folk songs, foreign songs, just
Yes.
nursery songs. My kids and my parrot loved Raffi, loved him.
Yes.
And one of the albums that he did, that's how old I am, was foreign songs, you know, like Frere Jacques
Mhm.
and Sur le Point d'Avignon, famous old French song. But there's a couple of Spanish songs, and every once in a while I'll have that album on for my bird, and I'll start singing along, and I'll realize, oh, I think I know what that verb is.
Yes.
Really
Well, and
sad.
I did not study Latin. And I understand a lot of people who study Latin, they Latin is a good base for understanding a lot of different languages, so it helps.
Romance. Yeah, romance languages.
Mhm.
Romance languages. Get it? Get it?
Yes.
Roman? Yeah. So like Spanish, Italian, a little bit of French.
Portuguese.
Portuguese, Romanian.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, a friend of mine adopted a little girl from Romania. She didn't speak a word of English, and they gave me the job of trying to communicate with her, which is hilarious.
So
But she was showing me words in Romanian, and they were Latin.
So to get back to your question, form your own opinion. I am doing that these days because I am paying attention to what my input, how much input I can handle before I have to process it and then have some output. Because a lot of times with the phone, social media, news, the word inundated shows up.
Overwhelmed. Yeah.
I get overwhelmed. And for me, when I get overwhelmed, I go, whoop. I just shrink up and can't handle any of it.
Well, it's wise, to know your limitations. It's it's wisdom. I'll give you an example. The other day, Sunday, I had this long list of things I had to do around recording and researching and reading, and I ridiculous list of stuff. And I thought, oh my God, I'm just exhausted. And I went and laid down on the bed. I fell asleep for over 3 hours. And then I thought, to hell with it. And I picked up my knitting, and you would be so proud. I knit for the rest of the evening. And I think giving into that need for a break, for rest, for recreation, we don't give ourselves permission. Other people in the world think Americans are crazy because we spend so much time driving ourselves beyond the point of exhaustion, right? We need to value our time here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I like that opinion. That was very good.
There you go. Well, and also opinions, I am finding I'm giving myself permission to allow my opinions to grow and evolve, especially when I get new information or new facts. Well, new information and new facts, those are the same things. So it's this idea of, okay, this is okay. I can have a different opinion because
you can be flexible and you can admit when you might have been wrong.
Yes.
That's maturity. I will say it's about time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I got to be careful. I hope my warranty doesn't run out soon.
Well, I told you earlier, I feel like it's a race to the finish line, and I'm rapidly approaching it.
Isn't that an interesting approach without not caring so much? It's pretty liberating.
In a lot of ways, it's liberating. If you believe in reincarnation, it's disconcerting because, okay, back up a little. The saying goes that the people who claim they never want to reincarnate again are the very ones who need it the most. So I dread the thought of being a child again, of being an adolescent again, in any context.
Yes.
And then I think about what we might have to look forward to. And that really does me in. I think, oh God, oh my God. So I have mixed feelings is what I'm saying. Yeah.
And by the way, having mixed feelings is an appropriate opinion.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm going back to the card you pulled.
Yeah, you're drawing it all together. Okay, I'm randomly going to pick another card here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I promise I won't take this as a criticism because I didn't invent this. Come up with a rule for this game that you would think would make it better.
Come up with a rule. I think there needs to be a time limit to be able to answer. So you got to think faster.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like 3 weeks. I'll get back to you the next time we
No.
convene? No, okay. So like 3 minutes or something?
Oh goodness, I was thinking a 2-minute timer, a minute timer.
Oh my God, I'll start to sweat.
Well,
I
I know. I didn't say it was, I'd make it better. I didn't say it would make it any good.
yeah, define better.
Define better, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well, all right. I can't even think of a rule that would make it better.
And I don't know the rules, so
Well, the rules are that we ask the question and we try to answer it and distract people from the world around us.
oh,
That's
by
the
the
rule.
way, Ma D just left a beautiful comment. I am at work watching you too with my
Oh,
sound off, and I still feel happy and seeing your faces. Much love and light.
oh,
Thank
that's
you.
really nice. You have a very strong stomach. Thank you. Thank you so much. Rapid answers. Oh, okay. All right.
There you go.
All right. Ready?
Oh my God. Are we
Oh,
actually applying the new rule?
yes. A wild animal that you think would make a good pet.
A wild animal that I think would make a good pet. Ooh. Uh, oh, goodness. I think are rabbits a wild animal?
No, they're domesticated. Hares are their cousin. They're wild. They're feral. Rabbits make excellent pets. They could be potty trained and everything.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Uh, um, Wild animal that Sasquatch.
Yeah, he's our cousin. Okay.
But they're still wild. They're not domesticated. Who do you think? What do you think, Helen?
It came immediately to me. I've thought about this a lot, actually. A fox. Because guess
Oh,
what? Foxes, I think, are related to dogs. And like a dog, if you get it at the right time and you treat it properly, you can make them less feral. And they actually become good pets. I've seen some videos like YouTube homemade videos, not documentaries. People who've tamed foxes.
wow.
Isn't that
Okay.
weird? Yeah, it's very weird.
We have bobcat, possum, and raccoons.
Linda, let me tell you about raccoons. We have raccoons. We have had the same multi-generational family of raccoons visit our house for 35, 40 years. That's the great, 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 great grandchildren are coming now.
Uh-huh.
Raccoons are cousins to bears. They are vicious. You could
Yeah.
never make a pet out of a raccoon. If you've ever gotten close enough to them to see their nails, their claws, their manicures, they are terrifying. And if you corner one, oh my God, they're really aggressive. They look cute and they're smart. They can
Mhm.
manipulate you.
Yes.
They'll
Yes.
come and eat your cat food. And when you open the door and you catch them, they kind of, aren't I cute? But if you tried to do anything, they'd like as not take your head off.
Yes. Pamela Batcher said squirrel, right size and like to go out and play.
Yeah, and they can live in a tree. You don't really have to accommodate them too much.
It's true.
Lazy pet owner. Linda, if you successfully make a pet out of a raccoon, I want to hear about it. My husband had a raccoon. When he was in college, they rescued a baby raccoon. They had to give it to an animal sanctuary when it got bigger because it got
Really is.
impossible.
Wow.
Yeah, dangerous. Yeah, yeah. And they're beautiful.
Wow.
And people keep them, but people keep green mambas too. I mean, some people do that. They keep animals that are scary. Ravens, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens are the animal familiar of the Irish goddess, the Merrigan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And sometimes she becomes a raven.
Mm,
They're
okay.
also the animal familiars of a totem animal of Northwest Indian tribes,
Okay.
indigenous people of the Northwest. They
Okay.
still see squirrels are smart.
Yes. Well, yes, I think a lot of animals we we miss we miss the opportunity that they're intelligent because they're being sleuthy, they're being creative and getting the food that they need in order to survive. So,
Well, that's their imperative, is to just stay alive. And
yes.
they over the generations, they've developed strategies.
Yes.
I they live with us in urban areas better than we would ever live out in the wilderness alone.
Absolutely.
Think about that.
Yes.
So, do you have any kind of Sasquatch related creatures where, in your neck of the woods?
There's some in the more rural areas and in the woods. There's related what were they called? Um, Hang on.
There's all kinds of names for them, like swamp creature, swamp bear, something like that, or uh, what's another one?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find where I was having this conversation with somebody recently, and I'm
Oh,
like
that's
going,
interesting.
uh, hang on.
Well, I live in the Northwest. I don't go into any more detail than that, but all over the Northwest, there's endless lore, and
Hmm.
and the lore is not all that old. Some of it, 100 years ago, articles in newspapers all the time, because this was less developed, woodsy,
Yes.
people encountering them.
There is the Ohio grassman, which resembles some of the Sasquatch because it's supposed to be covered in hair out into the environment and all that stuff. But I've not seen one of those. If that was going to be your next question,
Well, you've got Yeti in
correct. Hmm.
Tibet, the mountains of the
Hmm.
Himalayas, which is adapted white and adapted to the cold and stuff. So there's this professor in Idaho, I think the University of Idaho, who is his expertise is bipedal modulation. So he is the expert on walking on two legs.
Okay.
And he can look at footprints and he can tell you how tall the individual was that made the prints, how much they weighed, how fast they were going, how long ago the footprint was left.
Wow.
And if it's a bear footprint and it's a creature, he can tell you, well, it's not this and it might be that. Wasn't a bear, but it probably a primate. What kind of primate? Well, let's talk about that.
That's fascinating.
And yeah, and he has become the world expert on the anatomy, I guess, and behavior of Sasquatch because, well, for one, he's in Idaho and there's a lot of sightings there. And because of his expertise, people started bringing him plastic casts of the
Hmm.
footprints. And at first he thought, BS, this is crazy, right? Because he's a scientist. So he started studying it like a scientist. And over about a 30-year period, he realized, oh, there's something to this. So they have DNA now. Because
Okay.
that there's touch DNA now. They're much more refined ability to capture DNA and to learn from it. And they also found hair. Anyway, they came up with a profile that is a primate related to humans, but not human, and not identifiable with any other primate in their world global DNA bank.
Whoa.
So, okay, because there's a whole school of thought that they're interdimensional. They often
Okay.
appear simultaneously with lights in the forest and UFOs. Someone will see something in the sky. They'll go out to look and they'll see weird glowing like fire or orbs dashing around in the forest.
Mhm.
And then there'll be a Sasquatch sighting.
Very interesting.
I know. I don't know what
Wow.
I think, but the Hoopa, that's a tribe in Northern California, they actually have incorporated that creature into their tribal history. It's not mythology because it's real, to them, and they actually are cited frequently. And it's really sad because people. I read this book. I gave it to my granddaughter, or I'd pull it out. My 10-year-old granddaughter is now a devotee of Sasquatch, but they have all these stories. I mean, incredible numbers of stories. Police officers, highway patrol, state patrol, airline pilots, people who are trained to be observers, and people who are not given to hysterics and flights
Mhm.
of fancy. They'll be driving down a forest road, and they'll see one on the side of the road, and or it'll walk in front of their car, walk past their car. They've
Wow.
seen them rifling through trash on the outskirts of these towns that are part of the reservation of the Hoopa Indians. And they're not, oh, it's a bear and we thought it was. No, these are, they get the footprints later and they're like, oh my God, what is this?
Uh-huh.
So I don't know what to think, but I think it's wrong to dismiss it because we can't explain it.
Oh, I think those are wise words there. You must be an Irish granny, Helen, for those wise words.
If my grandmother could hear this, she'd give me an earful. I'll tell you what.
Well, of course, because she would give you an earful because it's not what her experience has been.
That's right. Although
Jeffrey,
I'll tell you what, there's plenty of stories about ghosts and dead people returning and unexplained phenomena out there in
well,
the
of course,
wilderness of in the hills of Ireland. So
yes.
Dr. Ann,
Hi, Dr. Ann.
hello. It's so nice to see you back.
Dr. Ann has to go to work. Dr.
Oh,
Ann.
work, it's overrated. Work is just
Well, I would just say, Dr. Ann, go be fabulous because we all need the fabulousness of the individual. So go out there and spread that fabulousness. People won't know what hit them. It'll be great.
Are you familiar with Maynard G. Krebs?
I'm not.
Do you remember Dobie Gillis?
Ooh, the name is
See, I'm
familiar. I
older
can't
than
place
you
it.
are. This is where it becomes evident. It's really sad. So when I was little, really little, no, let me rephrase that. When I was young, really young, there was an early black and white TV show on in the late 50s, early 60s called The Adventures of Dobie Gillis. And he was this uh, pre LSD Beach Boys, clean cut and the striped shirt tucked in. And, he was a college student and he had
Mhm.
a circle of friends, and it was just all their misadventures. But he had one friend named Maynard G. Krebs, who was about 35 and still a freshman. And he was a beatnik. And hey,
Mhm.
man, he talked like a beatnik. This is a long time ago, right? And he studiously avoided work. And
Oh,
anytime somebody said the word work, he went, work. It just reminded me.
well, here, let me ask you this. What are the Beach Boys?
Oh, stop it.
I'm,
Stop it. I
I'm
don't fall for
kidding.
that.
I'm kidding.
There. The people who remember Dobie Gillis. I'm
Yes,
excited. I think you can still find it. I think on YouTube you can still find it.
you probably can. And
Yeah.
if you want, you could probably watch it on your phone while you're mowing your lawn.
Why didn't I think that?
Well, Helen, you don't mow your lawn.
It's true.
I'm like going, Helen, really?
That's why. Okay, I hope people know I'm kidding. That's why I got married. That and taking care of the car.
There you go. There you go.
My poor husband has spent his entire life putting in minimum 40 hours a week at work and then coming home and doing the full-time job of a handyman. Always, there's always something.
Oh, come on. You know he loves it. You
He
know
loves
he
it.
loves it.
He really does. He likes to tinker. I never realized before that that was actually a pursuit. He loves to tinker. Well, he just took apart the lawnmower the other day.
Mhm.
He's always taking things apart and fixing them. So weird packages come in the mail, and I'll think it's a book, and I go, oh, this is not to me. What is this? And he'll say, oh, that's the solenoid blah blah blah, and I have no idea what he's
That I
talking
need
about.
for the doohickey to fix the thingamabob
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the whatchamacallit will work again.
Listen, if a light bulb blows in this house, if I were living alone, we'd be sitting in the dark. Not because I'm a girl, but because of my genetic background. My father wallpapered over holes in the wall.
I love that. Okay, there's a question. Wasn't Maynard Bob Denver?
Yes, yes, pre-Gilligan. Yes, he was.
Wow.
That's excellent. Excellent memory. That's so great. Yeah, I think that was his first, big
Mhm.
role was Maynard G. Krebs.
I love it.
Dobie ended and marrying him, they inherited a grocery store that Dobie's parents owned. Who's Zelda Gilroy? Oh, was that the girlfriend? That
I
must have
don't
been his
know.
girlfriend, Zelda. That sounds familiar. Inherited a grocery store that Dobie's parents owned. You know, can you imagine owning a grocery store? Like I'm assuming like a mom and pop
I
grocery store.
I I can't, but I was just with a friend of mine. Yesterday, we were working on knitting. We were getting together to knit. She is now at the stage, my friend is at the stage where she knows it's a mistake, yet she doesn't know how to fix it. She's getting frustrated. She doesn't know how to fix it. And so she says, I'm trying to fix these mistakes. And I said, if you weren't making mistakes, we would have no reason to get together other than just to hang out.
What kind of mistakes?
She's not slipping the stitch off the needle
Oh,
completely.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I sometimes will space out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with the pearl.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's twisting the stitches. For a while she was purling through the back loop instead of through the front.
Okay. Okay. That actually is a thing too, though. It's got to do
It
with
is, and I've
ankle.
explained it to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
So
It's
Dr.
it's
Ann really is leaving.
we don't want to get you in trouble, Ann. Get out of here.
Oh, yeah, go.
There's nothing that we're going to say that we won't say many times again. Like Donald Trump. Sorry. She doesn't live in the United States, so it, falls on deaf ears.
I'm just hoping that I sound a little bit more intelligent.
The second time around?
On that note.
Oh my God. So yeah, I have figured out ways, like I will have, this yarn is especially bad for this. It splits a little bit. I don't know if you can see how it's kind of not all the same.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'll look down and I'll see, the stitches are accurate, but there's this wisp sticking out that didn't get picked up somehow. And what I do is I knit to that point, and then I count and I undo the stitches and I pick them back up. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but
it's one way to do it, and if it works for you, that's the right way.
yeah. I like to have an extra needle lying around that I can use, and I think having a crochet hook is helpful.
Yes, all a crochet hook is great. It's a great way to pick up drop stitches
Thick things, yeah.
and to
Yeah.
fix things. Yes, I was not the best teacher for her because I gave her a 3-ply yarn. And so sometimes she will split a stitch.
Oh, and then count them wrong because
Yep.
she's got extra stitches. Yeah. Well, you see, this is how my mind works. Here's my brain on a piece of paper. How scary is that?
I think that's great.
Well, if I don't keep track, I'm trying to use you as my example and keep good track. Often, though, you're advising to read the pattern through all the way. So I do that, but I'll make a mistake because I've misread it. I mean, I read the words, but they don't click, and I'll misread something, and then I'll end up with the product being wrong, and I'll rip it all out in disgust and go back and do it again because I still misread it. So yeah, I don't know what the solution to that is.
Well, I tell you, for me, it is doing it in daylight after I have been awake and I've had, my morning routine done, and reading it out loud whilst I do it. With yarn in front, knit through the back loop.
Yeah. Well, I
Pick
told you, remember
up
I told you I
stitch.
was getting like way too many stitches or way too not enough stitches. I don't remember. And
Yeah.
when I went back the third time, I realized, oh, I get on a roll, and in one row, it's knit, purl, alternating rows. So the wrong side is always just straightforward purl, nice and easy. But you're doing it in sets of 4 rows, and row number 1 and row number 3 are knit, and you're decreasing, but you're decreasing a different number, and I was decreasing the same number.
Right.
So instead of slip 2 in the first set of 4 and then slip 3, and I was doing 2 and 2. Mm-hmm. And I did that 3 times all the way through until I just finally got it.
And you got it. That's the important thing.
Well, I could have been finished this last year. No, I could have been finished it.
Okay,
sooner.
Helen, I'm not going to let this go. You figured it out.
Yes.
That's a good thing because you have a tenacity about you. Isn't that a good word? Tenacity.
From the Latin tenere, to hold.
Oh, that's good.
You like that?
I do.
Between the two of us, we have a wealth of useless information.
Hashtag truth. Hashtag truth, people. You came here, and if this has helped you, make sure you leave a comment of longer than 7 words after this video.
But the words can't be more than 4 or 5 letters because then we won't understand what they mean.
I love looking up new words and getting curious to see what the words mean. Words are really beautiful. Okay, so this is I'm gonna spin off. I know we're at an hour. I don't care. I was listening to a show. It was Money for Nothing, which is it's a BBC show where they go to the tip or the junkyard and they try to save things that people were going to throw away, that they were going to discard.
Oh yeah.
And then they repurpose them. The host went to took a piece of furniture to a craftsperson, and she wanted something to be painted green, and he said, "Okay, do you mean a spring green or a summer green?" You know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, you're wearing a spring green.
I am wearing a spring green.
It has more yellow in it, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it was one of those things, Helen, it got me thinking about, here's the roundabout way. It got me thinking about the use of language and how the right word evokes a response from us. And so when I'm totally going to use that. Are you talking a spring green or a summer green? And she said a summer green, the moss under all of the trees.
Okay, so it has a little blue in it, a little
It
gray
has a
blue.
little blue in
Yeah,
it, and it's a
yeah.
bit darker. It's fun to me because I like color. I talk about color. I teach a
You're
color
really
confidence
good with
workshop.
color.
And well, thank you. And the idea of going, how would you describe that? Because there are a lot of different color theories out there. And one of my favorite jobs is I want to name paint swatches.
Oh, wouldn't that be a great job? Like naming nail polish.
Yes.
So fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was just one of those things that it goes back to that idea of the words, because the importance of what it is, and it can evoke it. And when we string these words together in a specific way, people really can understand what we're trying to say
Yeah. And
and
here's
what we're
here's an
experiencing.
interesting thing that I've noticed. If you go back to the original meaning of a word, like the Latin roots, I'm sorry, I know this is boring for
No,
you,
no,
but
no. This is
if you,
this
if
is
you go back to the original roots, you realize that words change their meaning over time. Exact same spelling, exact same word,
yes.
but over time it comes to mean something else. And I wish I could remember an example. If I think of one, I'll write it down. We'll talk about it next time.
Mhm.
So let's name our nail polish, okay? Because I
Oh,
looked at this, immediately came up with a great name. So that's the color of my nails right now.
oh,
Don't
okay.
look at that. Don't look at the edges.
Oh,
The
say.
color of my nails, okay? So
Uh-huh.
I have a perfect name for it immediately.
What is it? What's your perfect?
Homicide red.
Mm,
Isn't that great? Oh my God.
that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, and I think a friend of mine gets not endorsed OPI nail polish,
Yeah,
or
they have some funny
and
names.
they do have some funny names. I think that's just wonderful.
Well, that would be a great job. Uh,
Hmm.
I could get behind working at a job like that.
Oh, sure.
Makeup has crazy names in general. It's
Yes. Oh, yes.
absolutely crazy. So now, what did somebody say? A written record of Rose created a blank word chart and printed it out. Oh, that's a good idea. Tuesday Weld played her. Are you kidding me? Warren Beatty played the rich boy. I was 5 years old, so I don't remember that. Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Remember, you can find it on the YouTubes.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't watched. I know you can. I know they're there.
Hmm.
Warren Beatty. Oh, that's so interesting. How appropriate was typecasting, right? He played the rich boy.
There you go.
Thalia. Well, who was Zelda? Oh, Zelda was Maynard's girlfriend. Because Zelda was uh kind of an offbeat name, right? And he was
Yes.
offbeat. It was, yeah. You could be a Hershey chocolate taster. I don't know. I apologize. I would rather be a Cease candy taster.
I like See's candy.
Food of the gods. My mother was not very good at giving gifts. She gave gifts based on what she would have wanted in 1930, you know? Bless her heart. Yeah. She gave me once this pin. It was a bow and there was a heart locket. Like, where am I going to wear that on my
Yes.
Raj of India gauze top? It's just not going to happen, you know.
Hmm.
So for a long time, I didn't even really pay attention to it. I discovered the heart opened, and you could put a picture in there. So this gave it a whole new meaning for me. I put the picture of Mary C's from the box, the candy box. And people would say, "Oh, I like that pin." And I'd say, "Well, thank you. Actually, it has a picture in it." And, "Oh, can I see?" And I open it up. And they'd say, "Oh, is that your grandmother?" No, that's somebody even closer to my heart. Mary C's.
Yes, I
Did
love
you
that.
did you have C's candy stores where you lived?
No, I have had the pleasure of going to California a couple of times to provide some training. Uh, so that's when I first had it, and then there was a store in our town that had a See's candy store. So
When I was little in Santa Barbara, they had one of the original See's candy stores, and it was very 1930s. It was on the
yes,
corner of the main street, and it was all done in white subway tile with black and white trim,
yes,
like in the 1930s. And only older women worked in there, and they wore those white, almost like a nurse's uniform that they
yes.
wore in the 30s. And it was like the highlight of our weekend. My best friend and I would walk downtown, because in those days you could do that. We'd walk downtown, and one of our first stops was See's Candy.
Of
And we
course.
pretend we were going to buy something, because if you were a customer and you went in the store, they offered you a free sample.
How
Oh
long
my!
was it before they figured you two out?
They were always really nice.
We had Pamela Batchelor wants to be a yacht tester.
Oh.
I think Pamela could do that.
I hope you have Dramamine.
I don't think Pamela is one of those people that needs Dramamine.
Yeah, tester. It never would have occurred to me.
I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, and we had Esther Price candy.
I've never
That
heard of
was,
that.
of course not, because it's very local, but they do a lot of, they're pretty prolific.
Well, See's Candy is now on the internet.
Okay.
You can order it anywhere. And the price is astronomical. I'm going to tell on my husband. Just let me stipulate that I love him and we've been married a long time. So now I'm going to talk dirt about him. So his brother died recently. And
Mhm.
I said, a couple of days went by, and I said, have you sent anything to the widow, our sister-in-law?
Yes.
Have you sent her something? Like, did you get her a card or something? And he says, well, well, I thought I'd send her a box of See's candy. And I said, oh my God, it's not Christmas. I said, would you like me to order her like an orchid or something? He goes, yeah.
But okay. Let's just say, in a box of See's candy, you would appreciate that.
Oh, see, if I were in mourning, I'd take that thing to bed with me and eat it all by myself and cry. It would be perfect. But
Yeah.
she weighs about 70 pounds, and she's this
Uh,
intense, terribly petite lawyer who never eats. And so it was just kind of off the mark. He'd like it, and I'd like it, but they were a whole different thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So I just thought that was hilarious. I was going to send her some See's candy.
Yeah. And Pamela said, I don't need Dramamine, but I can't walk when I get off the yacht.
Oh, isn't that so weird? Yeah, you've got sea legs. That's so weird. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's
I
funny.
have marked down broken. Oh, I'm going to have to move there.
Well, see, here's the thing about broken candy.
Who
It
cares?
loses the calories.
You're right.
Hashtag not true. Hashtag
Oh, those
on
molecular
point.
bonds are broken, man. It's a free for all.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Ah. I wonder if they sell like bags of broken, chunks.
There's a we have a soft pretzel place in Dayton where I grew up, and it's a big deal. They're actually, I think are they in 6th generation ownership, which is really amazing. They have they make hard pretzels as well, and they sell the broken pretzels in bags. I love the broken pretzels because, I mean, they're going to be broken when I'm done with them.
Well, that saves you a lot of work.
It does. It does.
Pretzels are not my thing. they have a very low sugar content.
But they have a high salt content, which is
Yeah,
why I like.
that helps. That's an advantage.
Just saying.
Oh God. Yeah, would that be your junk food of choice?
Pretzels?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big pretzel fan. Yes.
So
Yes.
you're more of a savory
I
eater.
am a savory person. I am a savory person or a sweet and sour person.
So we could be stranded on a desert island and we'd never fight over what food was available because I'm 100% a sugar person.
Okay.
And I mean,
There
I'll
you
eat
go.
I'll eat things with salt. I like, salted nuts and stuff. But get my druthers would always, my default is always chocolate, always sugar.
Mhm.
Oatmeal cookies with raisins. Well, oatmeal cookies with raisins are health food. They have fruit, right?
Yes. Especially if they have the raisins, then it's healthy because it has fruit in it.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you know that food pyramid,
Yes.
mine is actually shaped like this. And at the top is chocolate. And then the next layer is coffee. And then there's kind of a void till you get to the pinnacle at the bottom. Well, the point at the bottom. And that's cream.
Mm. I thought of you last night as I was having chocolate ice cream.
Oh, I knew I was mad. I knew I was mad about
You
something.
you felt it.
I felt the denial. I felt the loss.
Yes. Ooh.
Salty, crunchy person forever. Now, see you and what's his name, Gerald here, whatever this guy's name
Yes.
is here.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
guys you'd be fighting, and meanwhile, I'd be in the corner with the candy, pretzels dipped in chocolate. Well, that pretzels dipped in chocolate. That's an acceptable compromise.
Whatever you want to call it, I like it. It's good because it's got the salt, it's got the sweet.
I thought of a good compromise. You know those candies that are called turtles?
Yes.
Made with cashews, not pecans. I'm allergic to pecans.
Mm-hmm.
Made with cashews and caramel and chocolate.
Yes.
I'm making myself hungry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Goodness.
Where's the butter? Somebody mentioned buttered popcorn the other day, and I have a disease. I started obsessing about buttered popcorn. It has been so long since I've eaten buttered popcorn that it was lucky there was nobody around who had a container of it, because I would have seriously to get my hands on that.
Okay.
Have you ever had a Jelly Belly buttered popcorn jelly bean thing?
I have, in my opinion, jelly beans do not need to have fancy flavors. They just need to be corn syrup and sugar and some sort of a coloring.
Okay, see, this is why we would get along so well, because I completely disagree with you. I only like the fancy flavors. That's good though, because we can share.
That's good.
Yeah.
So basically I can go to the dollar store and find jelly beans for me, but you have to go to the high-end store to find your jelly bean.
Only the best. Of
There
course.
You go.
I mean, come
Spoken
on.
like the oldest.
Come on. I've been putting brown sugar in my melted butter before oh my God, stop.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So good. Stop, I'm gonna cry. Oh.
That sounds so good. I was actually, yeah. I want some I want some popcorn now.
We're contributing to each other's delinquency, and
Yes.
you shouldn't do that.
Oh yes. Eat responsibly, know your limits.
My dog and I had air pop popcorn last night. Air pop popcorn is better than no popcorn, but it's seriously devoid of fat content. I mean, I'm just being honest. Who am I fooling? I'm going to pretend that I'm a health food addict? Give me a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually am really pretty good, and we eat vegetables all the time.
I brought some asparagus home. I have some asparagus. What's your favorite way to cook asparagus?
Anyway, we have grown it. Anyway, you can snap it out of the garden and eat it raw. It's great.
Yes.
Yeah. I like it with blue cheese. I like it roasted. I like it with
Mhm.
olive oil and salt. I mean, just
Mm.
anything you do to asparagus. I
Yeah.
love asparagus like soup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And do you roast your asparagus before you make it into a soup?
I've never made it. I've only had it. I don't cook.
Okay. Yes,
Bite
I
your
know. I
tongue.
know. I know. I know.
God. But it
Pamela likes
works.
it steamed.
You eat
Linda eats it with
asparagus with
chocolate.
chocolate. I never thought of that, but I would be willing to try that.
That's
Chocolate
interesting.
makes everything edible.
Yeah.
I'm
There you go.
serious.
Oh my gosh. Mm.
Well, I guess we've exhausted our basically our time, right? I thought they cut you off at an hour because people always get real stressed out about 59 minutes in.
No, it's for me, I'm going to say this and everybody who knows me is going to laugh. I try to keep my shows to about 50 minutes.
Okay.
Most of my shows go for about an hour and 10 because
Okay.
people's attention spans. And like all of us, there are many good options of things that can draw our attention.
Yeah.
Lots of people like to watch shows live. I get that. I like watching shows in playback, but at the top of the hour, there's usually new shows starting.
Yeah.
But then the other part of that is let's face it, I'm of a certain age and I drink so much water. I get to a certain point where I need to move that water from this cup
Oh,
into my body into
listen to you trying to
another
be delicate. Are
and
you
be
kidding me?
delicate. All right. I
I've had
have to
5
have a
kids.
wee
Are you kidding
eventually.
me?
I have to go have a wee after a bit. Okay.
Okay. I'm sure I can do that too. Well, I
Because
want to thank
if we make you
everybody.
laugh, if I make you laugh,
Yeah.
then you have to have a wee.
I'm okay now, but in 5 minutes it may be a different story. So somebody said esoteric, which I love that name. I wasn't hungry until this chat. Well, you're welcome. I do that to
Yes.
everybody. We always end up on the subject of food somehow or other. Potato asparagus soup, that's what I had, and it's really good with garlic.
I'm thinking about making some of that. It's been a little chilly here. But it's warming up, so it's okay. But the I do have some potatoes. So
I'm growing potatoes this year.
I am too. I have to add more soil to the bucket because they've gotten tall.
Yeah. I put them in the yard. I just put them around the yard in a couple of different places, and whatever survives, survives. I belong to the Darwinian school of
There
yard
you go.
work,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, oh God, this is making me hungry. Oh my God, jalapeno and asparagus. Sounds so
Ooh,
good.
that's good.
Oh, I like broccoli, I like beets, and I like asparagus. I'm an equal opportunity eater.
It's a good thing. It's a very good. I love it. I love it.
Oh, Gerald, this was so much fun.
Thank you.
And I hope everybody else did too. And I so appreciate people, spending the time. I rarely watch lives because they're scheduled and I have things I'm doing, it makes it
Well, of
difficult.
course. And that's why there's playback.
That's the beauty of it. I know you can always catch it up later. So, yeah. So anybody who wants to relive this golden moment in video history can go back and watch. So what are you doing? Trying to figure out another date for us?
No, I was looking. We do have something scheduled for next week.
I thought I saw that, and I was
Yes.
going to ask you, did I make a mistake, or are we doing that
Nope.
for sure?
It's readings for readers, and you're going to be on my channel.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. I knew we were getting together. I forgot the topic.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
good. Oh, that's going to be fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We could keep this nonsense up all day, I think.
We could.
Easily. Thank you all so much. And thank you to Gerald. And
Thank you.
We'll be back. Keep knitting. Slán go fóill.
Yep.
Slán
All
te.
right. Bye.